What happens when someone slowly stops caring about what's right or wrong? Moral collapse doesn't usually happen overnight. It begins with small compromises, ignored values, and repeated choices that slowly reshape a person's character. At first, the changes are almost impossible to notice. But over time, honesty fades, empathy weakens, and selfishness begins to take control. In today's video, you'll discover 10 signs of moral collapse that may appear in everyday life. Stay until the end, because the final sign often reveals that someone's character has changed more than they realize. 1. They lie without feeling guilty. One of the earliest signs of moral collapse is becoming comfortable with dishonesty. At first, the lies may seem small or harmless, but they gradually become more frequent and more serious. Instead of feeling guilty, the person begins treating deception as a normal part of life. When honesty loses its value, trust soon disappears as well. 2. They justify harmful actions. Rather than admitting they've done something wrong, they always find a reason to excuse their behavior. They may say everyone else does it, claim they had no choice, or blame the situation instead of accepting responsibility. Over time, these excuses make harmful actions feel completely acceptable. 3. They lose empathy for others. People experiencing moral collapse slowly stop caring about how their actions affect those around them. The pain, struggles, or emotions of others become unimportant if personal gain is involved. Instead of compassion, they begin making decisions based only on what benefits themselves. 4. They break promises easily. A person's word reflects their character. But when moral values begin to fade, promises become meaningless. They make commitments they never intend to keep, cancel responsibilities without concern, and disappoint others repeatedly without showing genuine regret. Reliability slowly disappears. 5. They celebrate dishonest success. Instead of respecting integrity, they admire people who gain wealth, power, or influence through deception. Winning becomes more important than earning success honestly. Eventually, they begin believing that unethical behavior is simply the smartest way to get ahead. 6. They ignore the consequences of their actions. Rather than thinking about how their choices affect family, friends, co-workers, or society, they focus only on immediate rewards. They rarely consider the emotional or long-term damage their behavior may cause. Personal benefit always comes before responsibility. 7. They surround themselves with negative influences. Character is often shaped by the people we spend time with. As moral standards decline, they become more comfortable around dishonest, manipulative, or irresponsible individuals who reinforce unhealthy behavior. Instead of encouraging growth, these relationships normalize poor decisions. 8. They stop taking responsibility. Whenever problems arise, someone else is always to blame. They refuse to admit mistakes, avoid accountability, and constantly shift responsibility onto other people or circumstances. Without accountability, personal growth becomes almost impossible. 9. They care only about personal gain. One of the strongest signs of moral collapse is placing self-interest above everything else. Every decision becomes centered around money, power, status, or personal advantage. Fairness, kindness, and honesty are seen as weaknesses rather than strengths. 10. They no longer recognize right from wrong. The final stage of moral collapse is losing the ability to distinguish between ethical and unethical behavior. Actions that once felt unacceptable now seem completely normal. The person no longer questions their decisions because their moral compass has slowly faded away. When this happens, rebuilding integrity becomes much more difficult, but not impossible. Moral collapse isn't about being perfect or never making mistakes. Everyone fails at times. The difference is whether we're willing to reflect, accept responsibility, and grow from our choices. Protecting your character starts with the small decisions you make every day. If you found this video meaningful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who values honesty, integrity, and personal growth. Sometimes, the strongest person isn't the most powerful. It's the one who chooses to do the right thing even when no one is watching.